she buries her baby, the shot enough of a short life. Well, I've had just enough time. If I die young, bury me inside, lay me down on a bed of roses, sink me in the river at dawn, send me away with the words of a love song. The short knife of a short life. Well, I've had just enough time, and I'll be wearing white when I come into your kingdom. I'm as green as the ring on my little cold finger. I've never known the love that I've been, but it sure felt nice when he was holding my hand. There's a bohemian tone says you love me forever. Who would have thought forever could be severed by a sharp knife of a short life? Well, I've had just enough So put on your best boys and I'll wear my pearls. What I never did is done. A penny for my thoughts, oh no, I'll sell them for $1. They're worth so much more after I'm a goner, and maybe then you'll hear the words I've been singing. Funny when you're dead how people start listening. If I die young, bury me inside, lay me down on a bed of roses, sink me in the river at dawn, send me away with the words of a love song. Up there, the ballad of the dove, go to peace and love, gather up your tears, keep them in your pocket, save them for a time when you're really gonna need them. Oh, the sharp knife of a short life. Well, I've had just enough time. So put on your best boys and I'll wear my pearls.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we know less days to sing God's praise than when we thirst, we go. Storms and snares I
here today as we gather to celebrate the life of Krystle Gosling. It's with heavy hearts that we're here this morning to remember Krystle and to give thanks for her life, for her 30 years gone too soon. I guess we can all remember where we were, what we were doing, who we were with when we heard the news 3 weeks ago of her sudden and unexpected passing. And it stops us in our tracks, doesn't it? It makes us realise how fragile life can be, and at the same time how precious life is, how precious every day is. Every day is a gift. Today is a day where words can get in the way because we don't know what to say. There's nothing that I or any of us can say that's going to take away the pain that Krystle's family are experiencing. So maybe the best we can do today, if we're in doubt as to what to say, is just to give Krystle's family a hug. Maybe it's a hug day today. Let's forget about COVID protocols and flus and stuff, and let's just hug each other and hold each other, especially Krystle's children, Misha and Thomas. Krystle's mum, Charlize, and her partner Warren. Krystle's grandmother, Joy, who is live streaming right now, and we welcome others who are live streaming. We hope that you can feel part of this celebration of Krystle's life today. Remember also Krystle's brothers, Jesse, Jordan and Kyle, and Krystle's late partner Trevor, who passed away in 2019. I guess in the last 3 weeks, some or most of you have tried to recall the last conversation that you had with Krystle. And if you had have known that that was going to be the last time that you spoke, you might have thought, gee, there's a few things I would have liked to have said. And maybe, you come here today with regrets about that, or you're kicking yourself. I guess we can't turn back the clock. The best we can do is to live in the here and the now, in the present moment, and be truly present to one another and to our grief at the moment, hey? Just when I met with Charlize and Warren there last week, they shared a few stories with me about Krystle. And first and foremost, they said that she was an absolutely loving mother to Misha and Thomas. Is that right, Misha, Thomas? Yeah. That she was always there for you. She lived for you too. She was a loving daughter and granddaughter and sister. She would do anything for her family. They said that she was a wonderful friend to many, and would mentor other mothers at the community centre. They said she was a laid-back, easygoing sort of a person. And they said that she had this real cheekiness about her, and the occasional prank too might come your way. Hands up if she pranked you at some stage. Yeah, okay. So today, I just want to say from the outset that it's okay as we share stories and memories of Krystle with each other. There are going to be some funny stories. So it's okay as tears run down our faces, it's okay to smile and to laugh too, hey? Because you all have positive memories there. And we want to share those today. We want to tell Krystle's story. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Have you done jigsaw puzzles over the years there, Thomas and Misha? Jigsaw puzzles? And there's lots of pieces, aren't there? And each one of us, you might think, has got a piece of the jigsaw puzzle that is Krystle. And today is the day where we share that piece of the puzzle, where we share our memories and stories with one another. And there's a few of you who are going to do that in a few moments. But as we begin, let's just maybe close our eyes and think of Krystle and think of the little piece of the jigsaw puzzle that you have of her. So let's just think of a special memory that you have of her. The first reading that we have today comes from the Hebrew Scriptures. It comes from the book of Ecclesiastes, and it talks about some of the contrasts that we experience as we go through life, beginning with birth and ending with death itself. There is a season for everything, a time for every occupation under heaven, a time for giving birth, a time for dying, a time for planting, a time for uprooting what has been planted, a time for killing, a time for healing, a time for knocking down, a time for building up, a time for tears, a time for laughter, a time for mourning, a time for dancing, a time for throwing stones away, a time for gathering them up, a time for embracing, a time to refrain from embracing, a time for searching, a time for losing, a time for keeping, a time for throwing away, a time for tearing, a time for sowing, a time for keeping silent, a time for speaking, a time for loving, a time for healing, a time for war, a time for peace. This is the word of the Lord. Well, in your booklets there, see where it's got eulogy? And it's got all those people's names. I'd like to invite all of you who are going to say a few words, if you'd like to come up and support each other while you're speaking, hey? Thank you. Cherie, Zoe, Nicholas, and Sarah.
Hi, I'm Cherie, and I'd just like to say a few words about Krystle. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done. There are so many stories I'd love to share, but I just want this to be short and sweet. I remember meeting this outgoing 14, 15-year-old girl. We soon realized we clicked and started hanging out, getting in some real trouble hanging around with Aaron, and then going to Sharon's to chill. I remember the day I asked you to be Stefan's godmother. You were so happy and excited to be a godmom. I remember how much you wanted to be a mum. And then you met Trevor, and God, did he take your breath away. You fell so in love with him no matter how hard you tried to say you were. We could all see you were. He was your soulmate, then you had Misha May and Thomas, and they became your whole world. You made a perfect little family, you got what you wanted. We will always make sure your babies will remember you. I make a promise to you now, I will always be there for those babies no matter what. They will always have my love, which will never stop. I will support them no matter what, and support your mum just like you'd want me to. Always and forever, young baby girl, I love you, Krystle.
Krystle Jamie Lee Gosling. Since Krystle was young, she loved to dance, sing and draw. Krystle was talented in a lot of things. Krystle just loved life, and she was always happy. Krystle would not let anything bring her down. Krystle didn't care what anyone thought. Krystle was always her. She never changed who she was. Krystal had an amazing personality and a beautiful smile that could light up a room. Krystal always knew how to make you smile even when you were down. Krystal had always had a way of making you forget a bad day. Krystal meant a lot to all of us. But Krystal loved most of all in life was being a mum to her 2 babies, Misha and Thomas. She was so proud of how well they're doing in school and how smart they are. Krystal loved her children more than anything in this world. Krystal also loved her mum, and with her a bond that could not be broken. They were not just mother and daughter, they were best friends, and a bond that will never be lost. We will miss you, Krystal. You will always be in our hearts. Rest in peace, little sis.
Thanks very much for those beautiful tributes there to Krystal. Was there one other going to speak? No? Okay, all right. So let's now look at Krystal's life in photos.
If I had only known the last time would be the last time, I would have put off all the things I had to do. I would have stayed a little longer, held on a little tighter. Now what I'd give for one more day with you. Cause there's a wound here in my heart where something's missing, and they tell me that it's gonna heal with time. But I know you're in a place where all your wounds have been erased, and knowing yours are healed is healing mine. The only scars in heaven that won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, and all the old will be made new. And the thought that makes me smile now, even as the tears fall down, is that the only scars in heaven are on the hands that hold you now. I know the road you walked was anything but easy. You picked up your share of scars along the way. Oh, but now you're standing in the sun. You fought your fight and your race is run. The pain is all 1,000,000 miles away. The only scars in heaven that won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, and all the old will be made new. And the thought that makes me smile now, even as the tears fall down, is that the only scars in heaven, yeah, are on the hands that hold you now. Not a day goes by that I don't see you. You live on in all the better parts of me. Until I'm standing with you in the sun, I'll fight this fight in this race I'll run, until I finally see what you can see. Oh, the only scars in heaven, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, and all the old will be made new. And the thought that makes me smile now, and even as the tears fall down, is that the only scars in heaven, or on the hands that hold you now?
Well, we now pray the 23rd Psalm, Mourner's Kadesh. Adonai is my shepherd, I lack nothing. You give me my ease in fertile pastures. You lead me to drink in tranquil waters. You renew my soul. You guide me on straight paths as befits your reputation. And even though I walk through the valley of the deepest darkness, I fear no evil, for you are always with me. Your comforting rod provides me solace. You prepare a table for me to eat in front of my enemies. My head oozes with oil, my cup is overflowing. Surely merciful goodness will be mine throughout my life, and I will always remain in Adonai's precinct. Today we acknowledge our appreciation for the privilege of sharing a part of Krystles' life. And even though her sudden and untimely death has meant a physical break in the links of the chain that binds you to each other, the influence and effect of Krystles' life is still evident even now as we speak her name. And so we say that we are glad that Krystle lived. We are glad we felt her touch and heard her laughter. We will forever cherish the memory of Krystle's love, her resilience, her wisdom, her friendship, but most of all, her love. Well, just before we conclude, on behalf of Misha, Thomas, Charlize, Joy and all the family, I'd like to thank you all very much for coming today and being part of this celebration of Krystle's life. Thanks also to Anastasia and Rachel from Alikau Funerals for so compassionately looking after us as well. In a few moments, we'll process out of the family. Krystle's immediate family would just like to remain for a little bit, just to say one final goodbye. But if the rest of you could just process out of the chapel, and then we will adjourn to the Deception Bay Hotel. Plenty to eat and drink there. I guess us being here today, it just seems wrong, doesn't it? None of us wanted to come today, I'm sure. That at 30 years of age, it's just a life cut short and just leaves a lot of grief and sadness. And it's a reminder, Krystle's passing is a reminder that life can be short, that none of us is guaranteed when we come out of the womb that we'll live to a ripe old age. So I think, there's a message in that to make the most of every day and to appreciate the gift of each day, and more so to appreciate who and what you have while you have them. And one way we can show our appreciation to one another is through our words. To say, I love you, or I'm sorry, or I forgive you, or or thank you. Words matter. Words make a difference. We can use words to build a person up, just as we can use words to tear a person down. Sadly, is what happens on social media too much. So let's be people who build one another up, who affirm one another, and let's tell each other today that we love them, hey? Those who are closest to you, tell them that you love them. Or if you need to forgive someone, say, I'm sorry. And then be generous in forgiveness and saying, I forgive you. Or maybe just to a friend to say thank you for the gift of friendship that we shared. Words matter, and words make a difference. So let's build people up, hey? Let's make a difference, just as Krystle made a difference to each of you who are here today. If you'd like to stand now, please. Tenderly and reverently, we commit Krystle's body to the purifying elements, grateful for the life that has been lived and for all that Krystle's life has meant to us. We now leave Krystle in peace. With much love and respect, we bid her farewell. Thus, in thinking of Krystle, let us leave this place in quietness of spirit and live with concern and affection for one another. Let's now go in peace.
Such a gentle mind. If you lose your way, think back on yesterday. Remember me this way. Remember me this way. If you lose your way, think back on yesterday. Remember me this way. Remember me this way. And I'll be right behind your shoulder, watching you. I'll be standing by your side.
talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling stronger. What's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that